Imagine a human storm. Mongol horsemen sweeping across the world, leaving shattered empires and silent cities behind. At the center was Genghis Khan, a name echoing with awe and terror. He built the largest land empire in history, driven by genius, vision, and a brutality almost beyond comprehension. His strategies were violence perfected, remorseless, efficient, and designed to erase any who resisted. Our journey into this darkness begins with a single city, a place of art and culture that would become a monument to Mongol fury, Nishapur. What happened there sent a chilling message to the world: submit or face annihilation. Nishapur, once a jewel of the Silk Road, a city of poets and scholars, its fate changed with the death of Tokuchar, Genghis Khan's son-in-law, killed by an arrow during the siege. The Khan's response was absolute: no mercy, no survivors. Led by Tolui, the Mongols slaughtered every living thing: men, women, children, even animals. The massacre was systematic, the plains running red for days. Chroniclers claim over 1 million died, but the true horror was in the method. Afterward, the Mongols built pyramids of severed heads as a warning to the world. The city was leveled, the ground plowed and sown, erasing Nishapur from existence. This was psychological warfare at its most gruesome. The price of resistance was now unmistakable. It began with a trade caravan sent by Genghis Khan to the Khwarezmian Empire, a gesture of peace. The governor of Otrar, suspecting espionage, executed the merchants and seized their goods. The Shah's refusal to make amends sealed his empire's fate. Genghis Khan unleashed his armies, employing brilliant tactics and overwhelming force. Cities like Bukhara and Samarkand fell, their libraries burned, their people massacred. The devastation was total. Civilization itself was under attack. The Shah died in exile, and the governor who started it all was executed with molten silver, a brutal symbol of Mongol justice. The world now understood. The Mongols had rewritten the rules of war. Defiance would be met with utter destruction. The age of the Khan had begun. Forged. The lesson: resistance meant extinction. The Mongols weaponized everything, including their enemies. They forced captives to march ahead as human shields, breaking the defenders' morale before battle even began. Defenders faced an impossible choice: kill their own people, or let the Mongols advance. At Nishapur, captives filled moats and siege ramps, dying under their own city's arrows. Human life was expendable, a tool for conquest. Compassion became a fatal weakness. The Mongols turned humanity itself into a weapon. Before he was Khan, Temujin's alliance with the Herat tribe and their leader Togrul was crucial. Betrayed by his former mentor, Temujin survived and turned his vengeance into policy. The Herat were not just defeated, they were erased. Leaders executed, survivors scattered or absorbed, their identity wiped out. This was a preview of the Khan's future methods: loyalty rewarded, betrayal annihilated. The steppe learned a brutal lesson: cross the Khan and your people vanish. The Mongol Empire would be built on the bones of the forgotten. At Kaffa, the Mongols faced a new enemy, the Black Death. Instead of retreating, they catapulted plague-infected corpses over the city walls. Panic and disease spread inside. Fleeing Genoese traders carried the plague to Europe. The Mongols didn't create the Black Death, but their tactics helped unleash it on the world. The result? A pandemic that killed up to half of Europe's population. Mongol warfare had consequences far beyond the battlefield. Even in defeat, their brutality changed history. The shadow of the Khan reached across continents. Herat rebelled after surrendering to the Mongols, an act of fatal courage. Genghis Khan's response was merciless. The city was besieged, then annihilated. Over a week, the population was systematically hunted and killed. Survivors lured out with false promises of mercy were slaughtered. Herat became a ghost city, its destruction a warning to all. The message was clear: rebel, and your city will be erased. The story of Herat spread terror faster than any army. Compliance became the only rational choice. The Mongols ruled through fear as much as force. For the Mongols, execution was theater, a message to the world. Methods like the breaking wheel and molten silver were chosen for their symbolism and terror. Rebels and traitors suffered public, agonizing deaths. Nobles were killed without spilling blood in accordance with steppe tradition. Every act of violence was calculated to enforce obedience. The spectacle of suffering was a tool of control. Under the Khan, brutality was policy. Mongol conquest meant mass displacement, entire populations uprooted and scattered. Skilled artisans were spared but forced into service across the empire. The rest were enslaved, families torn apart, communities destroyed. This policy spread technology, but at immense human cost. The Silk Road became a highway for misery as much as trade. The empire's strength was built on the skills and suffering of the conquered. The Mongols stitched their world together with broken lives. At the end of this trail of devastation, we see Genghis Khan as both destroyer and creator. His brutality forged an empire and a new world order, but at a terrible price. The silence of cities like Nishapur and Herat echoes with the cost of unchecked power. The Mongol legacy is a paradox, unprecedented connection built on annihilation. Their story forces us to confront the dark side of history's progress. The shadow of the Khan reminds us, the foundations of our world are sometimes built on bones.